Bismillah ar-Aman ar-Rahim, my dear sisters, as-salamu alaikum. In a world that constantly tries to define us by our looks, our careers, our social status, it is easy to feel lost, to feel unseen, to question our worth. But I am here to remind you of a truth that transcends all worldly measures. You are known, you are seen, and you are chosen by the Most High, Allah SWT. To be chosen by Allah is not about a life of ease and perfection. It is not about being spared from tests. In fact, it is often the opposite. It is about being selected for a unique purpose, equipped with a special light to navigate the darkness, and being entrusted with trials that polish your soul like a precious diamond. The first and perhaps most profound sign a woman whose heart is anchored in the divine, chosen for a purpose that transcends her own understanding, is her relationship with sabr. This is not the patience the world speaks of. The world's patience is often a thin veneer, a quiet waiting for a traffic light to change or a cue to move, a passive endurance that is easily exhausted and frequently accompanied by sighs of frustration. No, the sabr of the chosen woman is something entirely different. It is a deep, resonant, and active force. It is the bedrock of her character, the steel in her spine, and the softness in her heart all at once. It is a spiritual discipline, a conscious choice to plant her feet firmly in the ground of her faith when the storms of life threaten to uproot her. When a trial descends, be it a personal loss, a financial hardship, a betrayal, or a prolonged period of uncertainty, the initial shock and pain are real, for she is human. Tears may fall and her heart may ache with a weight that feels unbearable, but she does not break. She does not shatter. Instead, she bends like a mighty tree in a hurricane, her roots delving deep into the rich soil of tawakkul, her absolute trust in Allah. She understands, in a way that is both intellectual and deeply visceral, that this test is not a random act of cruelty from a distant universe, nor is it a sign of Allah's displeasure. Rather, she sees it through the lens of a divine promise, a sacred transaction between the Creator and His beloved servant. She recalls the words that are a balm to her wounded soul. Indeed, Allah is with the patient. Quran 2, 153. This is not a mere platitude for her, it is a lived reality. Her sabr is an active state of being. It is the patience of the tongue which refrains from complaining against the decree of Allah, from wailing in a manner that suggests a lack of faith, and from engaging in gossip or blame that poison the heart. It is the patience of the limbs which continues to perform the acts of worship even when the soul feels heavy and lethargic, pushing through to pray the night prayer when the body craves sleep, or giving charity when the wallet feels thin, precisely because she knows these actions are her lifeline. And most importantly, it is the patience of the heart, which maintains its certitude and its love for its Lord, even as it bleeds. This is the highest form of sabr, to not only accept the decree, but to find a strange, bittersweet peace within it, knowing that it comes from the most wise and the most merciful. Her sabr is a dynamic dialogue with her Lord. In her moments of solitude, her dua is not a list of demands for the trial to be lifted immediately. It is a conversation of the heart. Ya Allah, I am struggling. This is heavy for me, but I know you are Al-Hakim, the All-Wise. I do not see the wisdom in this, but I trust your wisdom. Grant me the strength to bear it with dignity you deserve from me. Show me the lesson you want me to learn. Let this hardship be a means of erasing my sins and drawing me closer to you. This is the essence of her perseverance. She is not a passive recipient of fate. She is an active participant in her own spiritual refinement, using the very difficulty as a tool for her growth. This quality often confounds those who observe her from the outside. They see her calm exterior in the face of a crisis and mistake it for coldness or a lack of feeling. They do not see the internal struggle, the conscious effort to redirect her thoughts from despair to hope in Allah's mercy. They do not see the private moments where she pours her heart out in sujood, her cheeks wet with tears, only to rise with a renewed sense of resolve. Her strength is not the absence of vulnerability, but the courage to be vulnerable before Allah alone, and to then present a face of serene acceptance to the world. This sabr becomes her identity. It is the forge in which her character is tempered and strengthened. Every trial she endures with patience adds a new layer to her spiritual resilience. She begins to carry herself with a quiet confidence, not in her own abilities, but in the fact that Allah is with her. She knows that just as a diamond is formed under immense pressure, her soul is being polished and perfected through these challenges. She internalizes the beautiful hadith that promises, no fatigue, nor disease, nor sorrow, nor sadness, nor hurt, nor distress befalls a Muslim, even if it were the prick he receives from a thorn, but that Allah expiates some of his sins because of it. Sahih al-Bukhari. This understanding transforms her entire perspective. The trial is no longer just a burden to be borne. It is a divine mercy in disguise, a cleansing fire, a direct path to Allah's forgiveness and pleasure. This is the sign of a woman chosen by Allah. Her life may be marked by difficulties, but it is more profoundly marked by her majestic, graceful, and unwavering response to them. She becomes a living testament to the power of faith, a walking example of the verse, and be patient, O Muhammad, for the decision of your Lord, for indeed you are in our eyes. Quran 52:48. Her sabr is her banner, her shield, and her most eloquent testimony of a heart that truly, deeply, and completely belongs to Allah. The second sign, a natural companion to the first, is a state of being that transforms the mundane into the sacred and the ordinary into the extraordinary. It is the sign of a heart that has found its true home, its ultimate point of return and repose. This woman's heart is not merely occasionally inclined towards the remembrance of Allah, it is profoundly and persistently attached to it. This remembrance, this is not a series of words she recites at prescribed times, though she is diligent in those. It is the very rhythm of her inner life, the constant, gentle hum beneath the surface noise of her daily existence. In a world that screams for her attention, with its demands, its glittering distractions, its endless cycles of worry and desire, her heart has learned to whisper the name of its Creator. This is her secret strength, the source from which her patience and all her other noble qualities flow. It begins with the foundational pillars of her faith, which are for her not burdensome obligations but cherished appointments. The 5 daily prayers are not mere physical motions and recitations, they are her sanctuary. When she stands in prayer, it is as if a door closes on the temporal world and opens to the eternal. In those moments, the deadlines, the social pressures, the endless to-do lists, all recede into insignificance. She is standing before the King of Kings, communing with the one who holds her destiny in his hands. This is her daily spiritual reset, a chance to recalibrate her soul, to seek guidance, to pour out her fears and her hopes, and to be filled with a sense of purpose and peace that the world cannot give. The Quran is not a book she reads for historical knowledge or even just for rules. It is a living conversation. When she recites its verses, she feels she is being directly addressed. A command strengthens her resolve, a prohibition steers her away from harm, a promise fills her with radiant hope. A story of a past prophet or believer makes her feel part of a grand, timeless narrative of faith and struggle. The Quran is her companion in loneliness, her solace in grief, and her guide in confusion. It is a letter of love and instruction, sent specifically for her, and she approaches it with the reverence and eager anticipation it deserves. But her attachment extends far beyond these formal acts of worship. It spills over into the countless unscripted moments of her day. Walking to her car, her heart might softly utter Subhan Allah as she observes the intricate pattern of a leaf or the vastness of the sky. Upon receiving good news, her first instinct is not just to smile, but to proclaim Alhamdulillah, acknowledging that every blessing is a direct gift from the most generous. When faced with a sudden worry or a moment of frustration, the name Ya Allah is a reflex, a spiritual anchor that prevents her from being swept away by anxiety. This constant, intimate dialogue is what the Quran refers to as those men and women who remember Allah often, for whom Allah has prepared forgiveness and a great reward. This often is not a quantitative measure but a qualitative state of the heart. It is a heart that has been trained to see the signs of its Lord in everything. The food that nourishes her body is a sign of His provision. The love of her family is a sign of His mercy. The challenges she faces are signs of His caring attention designed to elevate her. This awareness, born from constant remembrance, infuses her entire life with a profound sense of meaning. There is no longer a separation between the spiritual and the worldly for her. The entire world becomes a canvas upon which the attributes of Allah are displayed. This state of heart is her greatest protection. In moments of temptation, when her lower self whispers to her to indulge in something forbidden, it is this ingrained remembrance that acts as a shield. The thought of Allah, His all-encompassing knowledge and His loving presence, makes the fleeting pleasure of sin pale into insignificance. It is a more powerful deterrent than any fear of societal judgment. Similarly, in moments of potential pride, when she achieves something and the ego begins to swell, the remembrance that all capability and success come from Allah alone immediately humbles her and returns her to a state of grateful servitude. This is not a state that is achieved overnight. It is the fruit of a consistent, loving struggle against the forgetfulness that our human nature is prone to. She actively cultivates this garden in her heart. She might have specific morning and evening remembrances. She might dedicate time for voluntary prayer in the depths of the night, finding a unique intimacy with her Lord when the rest of the world is asleep. She surrounds herself with people who remind her of Allah, and she frequents places where His name is elevated. She understands that the heart, if left unattended, will be overgrown with the weeds of worldly attachments. So she is a diligent gardener, constantly watering it with remembrance and weeding out heedlessness. The ultimate manifestation of this sign is a palpable sense of Sakina a divine tranquility that descends upon her. The Quran says, unquestionably, by the remembrance of Allah hearts are assured, 13:28. This is her lived experience. The chaos of the world may rage around her, but within her chest there is a center of profound calm. She carries this peace with her into boardrooms, into grocery stores, into her home. It is the light in her face, the gentleness in her speech, the compassion in her actions. People may not understand the source of her serenity, but they are drawn to its warmth and stability. Her heart, attached to the remembrance of Allah, has become a home for the divine presence, and in that home she has found a peace that the world can neither give nor take away. This is the mark of a woman chosen by the Most Merciful, a woman whose heart truly belongs to Him. The third sign flows as a natural and visible consequence from the first two. It is the outward blossoming of an inward reality. A woman whose heart is fortified with patient perseverance and is continually nourished by the remembrance of Allah does not keep that light hidden within. It must, by its very nature, radiate outward, influencing her every interaction and defining her character in the world. She becomes a beacon of goodness, a living embodiment of the prophetic example, and her method of navigating the murky waters of evil and fitna is not one of harsh confrontation, but of profound and graceful deflection. This is not a performance for social approval. It is the organic fruit of a heart that has been polished by faith. Her goodness is comprehensive, woven into the very fabric of her personality. It manifests first and foremost as honesty that is unwavering, even when a lie would be more convenient. Her word is a binding covenant. If she promises, she delivers. People know that they can trust her with their secrets, their concerns, and their affairs because she understands that trustworthiness, *amana*, is a cornerstone of faith. She is the one who will return the extra change given to her by mistake, who will complete her work with integrity even when no one is watching, and who will speak the truth even if it is against her own interests. This reliability makes her a pillar in her community, a point of stability in an unstable world. Her kindness is another facet of this brilliant light. It is not a selective kindness reserved for those who can benefit her, but a universal compassion that extends to her family, her neighbors, the stranger, and even the creation of Allah at large. She speaks gently, even in disagreement. She offers help without being asked. She looks for the good in people and strives to be a source of ease for them, removing harm from their path as the Prophet letter F.D.F.A. instructed. This kindness is a practical one. It is in the meal prepared for a grieving family, the patient ear offered to a troubled friend, the forgiving of a minor slight, the warm smile she shares freely. She understands that a good word is a form of charity, and her presence becomes a soothing balm to those around her. This consistent practice of goodness fundamentally alters her relationship with evil. When she encounters sin, gossip, backbiting, or any form of moral corruption, her response is not one of self-righteousness or aggressive condemnation. Instead, she possesses a deep instinctual understanding of the spiritual disease that such environments breed. She repels evil with a grace that is both powerful and dignified. The primary and most potent weapon in her arsenal is often silent avoidance. If a conversation turns to backbiting, she does not engage. She might simply become quiet, her silence speaking volumes in a room full of noise. If that is not enough, she will gently change the subject, introducing a more wholesome topic. Or she might offer a plausible excuse to physically remove herself from the situation. This is not weakness. It is immense spiritual strength. It is the strength to control one's tongue, to master the impulse to join in, and to protect one's heart from the poison of participating in the degradation of another soul. She knows the grave warning against backbiting, that it is like eating the flesh of one's dead brother, and the very thought of this is enough to make her recoil. Her grace extends to more direct encounters with wrongdoing as well. If she sees an error that she is capable of correcting, she does so with the utmost wisdom and beautiful exhortation. Her approach is never to publicly shame or humiliate. She seeks the most private setting, speaks with the kindest words, and begins by assuming the best about the person. Her goal is not to prove herself right, but to guide the soul back to what is right for the sake of Allah. She embodies the Quranic command to *repel evil with that which is better, Asterisk 41:34. If someone is rude to her, she responds with patience and a calm word. If she is treated unjustly, she seeks justice with dignity, but is equally capable of pardoning and overlooking for the sake of maintaining peace and harmony. This is not the behavior of a doormat, but of a sovereign soul who understands that reacting with anger or spite only diminishes her own spiritual station and hands control of her emotions. Another, she chooses her responses from a place of power, the power that comes from faith. Her entire life becomes a living dawah, an invitation to Islam not through lengthy sermons, but through the eloquence of her conduct. People are drawn to her because in a world of cynicism she is hopeful, in a world of harshness she is gentle, in a world of deceit she is honest. They see in her a different way of being, a higher standard of living. They see the beauty of Islam reflected in her character, and this becomes the most powerful invitation to the faith. She repels evil not by creating walls of hostility, but by building a fortress of such compelling goodness that darkness simply finds no place to take root within her orbit. She is like a fragrant rose that naturally repels pests not through aggression, but simply by being what it is: beautiful, pure, and inherently good. This is the sign of a woman who has internalized the mission of the Prophet letter, FDFA, who is sent to perfect good character. She strives to be, in every moment and in every interaction, a mercy to those around her, a safe haven in a troubled world, and a clear, radiant beacon guiding others toward the light of their Lord.